Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bethalkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. This is the basically all the genre stuff that's out there that's been going on this week, all the news, plus some little tidbits that I'm seeing here and there, and also just a free-for-all talk on all things, make believe that we like watching and talking about and things like that. So, before I get started here, so people have been, not a lot of people. I'm a fledgling channel, so of course I've got a few smatterings. I'm sure if I had, thousands of subscribers and viewers and things like that, it'd be a lot more. But people aren't very happy with how I've done the last two episodes of the Orville. I should say the first two episodes of season 2 of the Orville. They don't like my opinion on it. And let me be clear about that. That's called opinion. Just because someone doesn't like the same thing that you like, or has a different viewpoint on it, it's called opinion. It's a difference of opinion. That's what makes this world go round, And this is why we don't have everything all homogenized, and we have different things and different things to choose from in life, is because we all like different things. It doesn't make anybody dumber. It doesn't, or anything like that, just because they don't quote unquote understand your what you like. I was actually told I didn't understand the last episode, and basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to be polite about saying that episode sucked, is what I am. So essentially, I guess what they want me to do is remove the kids' gloves and just flat out say what's wrong with the episode, how it sucked, instead of trying to be polite about it and not hurt anyone's feelings about it. I really liked season 1, and this season 2 is a far cry from season 1. It's actually really, really shitty, and I've said so. Thanks, Cheryl Lara. She says, I value your opinion even when I like the Orville. We all need to listen to others and respect them. Exactly. Just because your opinion differs from someone else doesn't make that person dumber than you. Nor does it mean you should be calling them names or, making fun of them or anything like that. That's bullshit. I mean, that just invalidates your argument altogether and basically makes me say, I'm not going to listen to you at this point. Because if your first result is to go to name calling and also saying, oh, that person is stupid because they don't understand this or they're not woke enough or something like that, bullshit. That's all I'm going to say about that right then and there, and walk out on you. So with that, let's actually get to some fun shit, this morning. How's everyone doing, by the way? Everyone doing good? So I'm not going to start off with the main topic that I have here about the year 2019 being the year of the end. I know it sounds doom and gloom, but it's not. There's just a shitload of things being ending. TV shows, movie franchises, storylines in movie franchises are ending. And that's where I'm going to talk the bulk about that. But a little bit later on, I'm going to get some people in, and then we'll do it from there. I'm going to start off with, there's a new theory about Avengers Infinity War, is that Vision transferred his consciousness into the Mind Stone and convinced Thanos that Thanos had wiped out half the universe. This is the new theory that's going around. It's an interesting theory. Do I agree with it? It's possible. I mean, it's a very possible theory, but how are you going to play that off? Are you going to say, and then they're also saying that those people that disappeared, that disintegrated into dust, went off and they're all in one location now. Who knows where? So Mufinobi says a great argument doesn't end up in name calling, it ends up in yeah, I'm not going to say anything. So you're still in that honeymoon period there, Mufinobi. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, it's a weird theory that I can see Vision transferring himself into the Mind Stone. and possibly influencing things, but to hide half the universe in one location, it unless you're doing it in a stone or something like that, it just sounds weird. I was being funny, not romantic, but okay. Sorry, man. I was gonna be mean there. I'm not gonna be mean. It's too early in the morning. Filthy News says coffee and ham playing World of Warcraft. Oh, so you're multitasking. Got it. So both hands are okay. Slurmy Scott. Oh, love comes to the chat. So cute. Yeah. Where's my vomit bag at? Oh, I don't have one. Sorry. So yeah, it's a weird theory. I don't know how much stock I put into it. It's going to be Avengers Endgame is going to be weird as it is, considering that takes place, what is it, 5 years afterwards and after the snap. And we're going to see what happens, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Viking Bitch says, quick Fanobi, let's make Dennis sick. Yeah, I can't do that over the internet. Well, you can, but that's a different kind of sick. It makes my computer sick. So, Fanobi. I'm not going to say anything. Speaking of which, we're going to stick with a little bit of Marvel news here. Kevin Feige finally says that those shows that are going to be on Disney Plus, or D Plus as I call it, next year, because D Plus actually premieres next year, now maybe in the MCU, because he says there's only so many movies they can pump out in a year, and so these shows, you know, the Loki show and the Scarlet Witch show and the what else is there? Is the Hawkeye Variety Hour or something like that, where they sing and dance, something along those lines. That is supposed to be now possibly part of the MCU. So I'm not going to discuss what's going on tonight. That's all I'm going to say. I can neither confirm or deny anything that I'm doing. Mufinobi says, I'm not paying for Disney streaming, even just to watch Marvel. Exactly. I've got pretty much all the Marvel movies except for Iron Man 3, which is still ridiculously priced. So I'm not going to do that. Excuse me. Yeah, Filthy News. I saw that too. That's so Filthy News says if you go to Google, type in famous Hugh Jackman films, it will show Avengers Endgame on his list of movies. That's a typo. And Google has admitted as much, that it's a typo. So I really don't think that Hugh Jackman jacked himself up to become Wolverine again just to do a cameo in the Avengers movie, Avengers Endgame. X-Men's done pretty much. And I'll, like I said, I'm going to get to that in my main topic. And he's not coming back as Wolverine. They're going to recast Wolverine, and I'm fairly sure they're not going to, if anything, if he has a cameo in it, then it's going to be some old footage of him flying by at some point when they remake the universe. So, yeah. Has it been confirmed? Is it that it's fake? Is what Filthy News asks. From what I understand, Google has said that it's a typo, that it's something that got pulled into one of their algorithms. So, hey, Cameron Hamilton, nice to have you aboard. And Stanley Tweedle, and Movie Fanobi, and Slurmy Scott. And I saw that it was a Penn Farm Girl that was in here, or Feisty Fan. I saw Feisty Fan was in here. All right. And Penn Farm Girl. There we go. So, yeah. And Joe Greer. Hey, how's it going? So, yeah, I don't put any stock in it. Like I said, if he is in it in a cameo, it's not going to be something that he filmed. It's something that they're going to use some old footage of him flying by as the universe gets remade. Because we all know that's pretty much where this is going, is that the whole Marvel universe is going to be kaput and reborn again as something else. That's pretty much where it's got to go. if especially since they're bringing in Fox stuff, if they want to bring in X-Men, Fantastic Four, all this stuff, the comics are gearing up for it. We know the movies are going to be gearing up for it too. That's why they've been so tight-lipped about it. I guess Mark Ruffalo again has been out there spoiling shit because he can't keep a secret. He's worse than Tom Holland on that stuff. So it hasn't been anything major, but still, it's, you know, it's Mark Ruffalo. That's all I'm going to say. But so since we got a lot of people in here already, let's take a look at the main thing I was talking about. 2019, the year of the end. So we've got a lot of shit ending this year, both TV wise and movie storyline wise as well. Some of the things that are kind of weird, like Toy Story 4. Yeah, I know. Toy Story 4 is kind of a weird one. I thought we were done with it in Toy Story 3, but here we are 10 years later, and we've got a Toy Story 4, which is supposedly going to end it. According to Tom Hanks, the last scene that he recorded, he said was very heart-wrenching, and very moving, and I guess ends the series completely. Yeah, I have no desire for Toy Story 4 either, movie Finobi, but it is what it is. It's genre, and it is ending, and it fits my my topic. That one was a reach. I'm going to say that one was a reach. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, that's also ending as well. And that's kind of been a long-running series as well. I actually know people that worked on the first movie when DreamWorks had their San Francisco Bay Area location. And then, of course, fired a shitload of people and moved it up to Vancouver. And then I think fired them and then moved it over to Singapore. So I've never been a really big fan of those movies just because I knew people that worked on them and was kind of disappointed in how they were treated. So, but yeah, that one is ending as well. The How to Train Your Dragon series. The last movie is coming out in May, or I believe it is. Yeah. So February, excuse me, take that back. February 22nd. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. On the TV side, of course, we have Mr. Robot coming out for its 4th and final season, which is supposedly about the end of this year is when that's going to happen. And that's going to be on the USA Network, of course. There's no confirmed date on this one. But yeah, it's movie Finobi, How to Drain Your Wallet's The Hidden Purse. Yeah, kids were really into that movie. They really, really were, and all the different toys. Marvel and Star Wars needs to take note of that, because they actually sold a shitload of toys, which is where the real money is anyway. Hey, Osaro. Yeah, it's it made a shitload of money just in merchandising alone. As a story, it was okay. I didn't really dig it, like I said, for personal reasons, but I know a lot of people who did. And of course, all of this in the TV series, Jesus, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the show that will not die. That fucking zombie show just keeps going on. Yeah, they did create a likable thing, a unique thing with Toothless, but the rest of the story has been kind of weird and derivative. So yeah, I'm not too fond of that one. And then of course we have the giant in the room, the Marvel Netflix series. The Punisher just announced, of course, that it's being released on January 18th, which is next Friday. Yes, I'm going to cover it. I am going to just do a season review because it's going to be canceled pretty much. I'm guessing by March. That's going to be my prediction, is by March they're going to announce that Punisher is canceled. Or they're going to wait for Jessica Jones, which Jessica Jones, I believe, comes out in April or May, something like that. And once she comes out, that's usually when they cancel the show right before it that came out. So that seems about the right timeline for that. Yeah, movie for Nobi. They do need to put Coulson back into the MC. Well, they are with Captain Marvel, but that's kind of a cheat because it's back in the 90s. And yeah, Agents of Shield just needs to die. It's not. And I've been watching the thing from the beginning to now, up to now. I haven't missed an episode, and I keep asking myself, why do I keep punishing myself and watching this? It's not the greatest show. It has some interesting ideas. It looks like they're going in the right direction, and then they kind of veer off from it and go, nope, we're not going to do this. Yeah, Viking bitch. This is definitely going to be the end of Jessica Jones and the Punisher. They have canceled all the other series, so everything's moving over to D plus. That's where they're going with their MCU limited series, if you will. You know, with Loki and Scarlet Witch and all those things. So that's what's going on. Yeah, I still haven't thought of a better Wolverine than John Bernthal yet either, and this frees him up to play Wolverine. So why not? You know, I believe Jessica Jones in the spring because Punisher is January 18th, like I said, and I think April or May is the rumored for Jessica Jones, and that's usually the time frame when they cancel the previous series right before it. That's what they've been doing. So, was it they released Daredevil, and then they canceled Luke Cage, or like about a week after Daredevil, season 3 came out. So. Yeah, Inhumans was horrible, but that was Jeff Loeb. I mean, these are all Jeff Loeb as well. And like I've said about Jeff Loeb really needs to distance himself from the Marvel universe completely. He's been the one that has ruined Marvel TV completely, I think. Stanley Tweedle, completely off topic. Do you consider reviewing Corporate season 2? I don't know. Is corporate genre, or is that some kind of drama? What is it? I actually haven't heard of it, to tell you the truth. So yeah, Joe Greer. How do you get away from having one of your main characters whose strength is her hair, her telekinetic hair, shaving her fucking head, and then calling it the Inhumans? That's yeah, it's just bad. Yeah, Viking bitch, if they could actually change Jessica Jones instead of making her the same person that she always is by the end of the season, because she seems to go through all these changes during the season, and then at the very end she goes right back to the way she was at the beginning of season 1. At the end of season 2, she's the exact same person that she was at the beginning of season 1. There's no difference. I mean, other than now she knows where her brokenness has come from with Purple Man. That's pretty much about it. Yeah, I don't want her to stay stagnant either. Kristen Ritter is a great actress. She actually plays Jessica Jones very, very well. And that's the whole thing, is that they have so much potential there, and they've squandered it. I mean, just absolutely squandered it. And this is all Jeff Loeb's fault. Really, it is. It's all Jeff Loeb's fault. Iron Fist, dude, that shit show. I mean, talk about shitting the bed. That was the worst part of it. Season 1 and season 2. There was some great stuff that was in there, and especially season 2. Season 2, we saw the mask. We saw that it could be happen, and they didn't do it. And then to give the power to Colleen at the end, and she's the real Iron Fist. Fuck that. I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Slurmy, yeah, don't bother with the Inhumans. It's excuse me. Lost in Hawaii. That whole Lost in Hawaii storyline. I mean, fucking stupid. And to kill off, main characters like Gorgon. What the hell? Hey, Mark Maginot. Jessica Jones and Kristen Ritter were my favorite, along with Daredevil. Plus, she was better than with Luke Cage. Yeah, I mean, come on. Misty Knight was awesome. And then Danny in Luke Cage season 2, what the fuck? That episode, episode 10, where they team up. And that's actually Iron Fist at that point. Iron Fist and Luke Cage, heroes for hire. Make that. Don't deal with the Defenders. Screw the Defenders. No one wants to see that. That's what I wanted to see. And Joe Greer, no, I don't watch the 100 on CW. I tried. It's a little too YA for me. I'm not the intended group for that one. I can't do it. I've tried. I can't get into the storyline. And don't get me wrong, I usually love post-apocalyptic stories. I don't know what's going on with that one. It just doesn't drag me in. And yeah, it's. I mean, it looks like it's well written. It looks like it has a good story. It just doesn't speak to me at all. No, it's not Grand Canyon all over again, Slurmy Scott. That pile of shit has its own special place in history. So Viking Bitch says, I did watch the 100, but I couldn't get into it. I'm with Dennis. I feel too old for that show. Yeah, I am too old for that show. And I guess I'm the wrong gender too. I guess it's very popular with girls as well. So it doesn't speak to me. That's what I've heard anyway, is that's the demographic. So what other shows do we have that are ending this year? We also have, well, Gotham. I'm covering Gotham right now, and its 5th and final season. And it's living up to its batshit craziness that it normally has. I like the first episode. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, it delivered. It delivered on the craziness. I mean, starting off over a year after No Man's Land, in No Man's Land, then going back to day 87 and showing how all this stuff is starting to come about. It's really interesting. And I'm interested to see where they're going to take Jeremiah, if they're going to go full-blown Joker with it, because they're going to go full-blown Batman with Bruce Wayne and bring him into, the cape and the cowl, because they keep showing, of course, stuff on the trailers and things like that. And Filthy News says, yeah, I liked it too. Yeah, it's actually really good. It's a lot of fun. It's not Batman, though. I mean, it's an Elseworlds Batman is what I look at it as. That's all I can say. It's Bruno Heller's Batman. And it's good for what it is. I have to say, if you go back and look in, I believe it's season 3, they did Professor Pig. Professor Pig's, those episodes are really, really good. It's a good horror story, too. It's not bad. Movie Funobi says, I tried 100. Interesting premises and concepts, but God, the teen melodrama I couldn't finish. And the tribal stuff I didn't care for. I did like the original Tribal Queen before they... Spoilers. Yeah. Yeah, I tried doing it too. Like I said, I tried watching the first season. This is when we were trying different shows out and things like that. And I just couldn't do it. Yeah. Sorry, Joe. I know you like it. And again, like I said, that's what's great about this fandom. We have so much stuff out there. We have more stuff out in TV and movies now than at any time that we've had previously, genre-wise. So sci-fi, fantasy, horror, you name it, that's out there that you have to pick and choose from, that, quite frankly, I don't have enough time in the day. I mean, I've got a full-time job. I'm doing the podcast. I've got to watch some shows as well. And I've got a demanding little dog as well that's 5 years old that, she wants to go out and pee every now and then and poop. And I've got to do that as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, pick and choose, man. And there's enough out there for everybody to like. And enough out there where if you have a difference of opinion about it, doesn't mean you're stupid or, you just don't like it. That's all it is. It doesn't float your boat. That's all you got to do. Yeah, Pepper is asleep right now on her pillow. She actually didn't even twitch when I said her name. I'm surprised. So normally she will, have her little ears perk or something like that. But no, she didn't do anything at all because I didn't give her any TREATS this morning. I don't say the word because if I do, then she'll come over and bother me. And I don't want to do that. No, it's not named after Pepper Potts. She was actually named after a spice. That was... And no, I was not going to name her Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a stripper name, and I don't want her going down that road. She's too young for that. So, excuse me. And champagne was definitely out of the question, or Cristal. So back to the news here. So we also have Killjoys. Killjoys is in its 5th and final season at the, I believe, end of this year is when that's coming out. So I know a lot of people love Killjoys. I was never able to get into it again as well. I tried watching it. I watched the first season, and yeah, Killjoys, Joe Greer. They just announced that it's in its 5th and final season, so they know that it's their final season, and they actually are wrapping things up. So, I really wanted to like Killjoys as well, and I don't know, I couldn't get into it. It didn't really do anything for me. So, Filthy News says, I personally think Captain Marvel will be good. Please don't hate me. You know what? It can go either way, to tell you the truth, Filthy. My whole thing is I just hope they don't make her to be the end all be all of all the heroes and then retroactively kind of place her into the Marvel universe and say, see, she was supposed to be the savior all along. It's like, no, it's a group effort, man. Just make it a group effort. That's all you need to do. That's what they were doing with Avengers, Infinity War, was it was a group effort to try and get the damn gauntlet back and everything. And make it a group effort. That's all you need to do. You don't need to make it one person that is above all else, that is the chosen one. Fuck the chosen one. That, quite honestly, that old trope of the chosen one went out with the Matrix. And that was back in 1999. Let it die. Okay, there is only one chosen one. That's Bruce Campbell. And I'm back. Welcome back, Feisty. How do they decide? Pen Farm Girl asks, how do they decide Dark Matter should die instead of Killjoys? Quite honestly, Pen Farm Girl, I never saw the difference between the two. I really tried, and it seemed like the same show, just with a different premise. But it was the same cast. It was it didn't really do anything for me, either one. So, yeah, I know. And Dark Matter was more expensive, is what Mark Maginot says. Yeah. Filthy News says, I wasn't a fan of The Matrix, to be honest. It's I liked it for what it was when it came out. So the first one's awesome. The second one and the third one are just fucking weird. That's all I can say. The whole Christ complex thing, and especially at the end, and that he could come back. They left it open for a sequel, and didn't need to really do that. But hey, there was different ways of ending it. It was basically Philosophy 101. If you go back and watch it, someone had read went through a Philosophy 101 class and then ended up making The Matrix. But there's a lot of people, pretty people dancing, in a rave underground, waiting for robots to come. Yeah, it did have some groundbreaking stunts, true, and also special effects as well. It was one of the movies that kind of kick-started doing comic panels, live action comic panels, if you will, in movies. And without it, I don't think we would have had modern comic book movies the way they are now, and have them be as popular as they are now. Yeah, movie for Novi. The first one was Magic and Broke New Ground. And what's kind of funny, because this, I think it was like a month later, Matrix was released, and then Existence from David Cronenberg was released, which is essentially the same kind of movie, same premise, if you will. And it's really damn good, but it got lost in the shuffle because Matrix, was getting all the attention at the time, and Existence actually had a smaller release in theaters. I think it only got released to in the triple digits, not 4 digits like The Matrix was. Yeah, if you ever want to go and see something that's very fucking trippy, and it's got Jennifer Jason Leigh in it and Jude Law, yeah, very young Jude Law in Existence, and it's a really good movie. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like that kind of genre, sci-fi, and horror. It's actually got body modification horror in it as well. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's one of Cronenberg's best movies as far as I'm concerned. It's very underrated too. So we also have Mr. Robot. Actually, I talked about Mr. Robot in the fourth and final. Did I not? I did not. So yeah, Mr. Robot's fourth and final season. Actually, I did talk about this already. Never mind. See, I even lose track of this as well. iZombie is in its fifth and final season this year. We should be having that coming up fairly soon because normally it's around February. That it's a mid-season replacement. And yeah, William Dafoe. That's right. He was in Existence as well. Thank you, Stanley Tweedle. And yes, watch it, Filthy. It's fucking phenomenal. It's a great movie. It's very, very it's a mindfuck movie is really what it is. That's Cronenberg's essential, where he screws with your mind as much as possible, and you never know what's going on, even at the very end, but it's in a good way. So iZombie is in its fifth and final season. That's going to be happening, like I said, probably February or March, somewhere around there. And we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming in as the mayor of Seattle, of Zombie Seattle. And you're talking about Mr. Robot. Dude, Mr. Robot's awesome. The first season's a little bit rough to get through. It's of course trying to find its footing. Second season is really good, really damn good, but leaves you at the end of the second season. You're like, what the hell? Everyone gets pissed off. Third season is like the best season that they've done, and of course they're ending it here on the fourth season. So. Osaro says, I binged all the previous seasons of iZombie last week. Enjoyable, a bit wonky. It's a fun show. And that's what I like about it is it doesn't take itself seriously. And this last season was just and by the way, the song Der Kommissar by Kraftwerk, when it's playing, when Major goes in and starts killing all the zombies in the butcher shop, I never can listen to that song now without visualizing that scene. It actually worked very well with that scene. I was surprised. I was actually very surprised, but it's a great scene. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Viking Bitch, 5 seasons is a good place to leave off. Leave off before you run out of ideas. Like the comic. The comic kind of went weird. I was reading the comic iZombie when it was out in the Vertigo title. By the time it got to issue 12, you could tell they didn't know where to go because he had everything done up to issue 12. And then 13, I started reading. I'm like, where the hell are you guys going with this? And they started bringing in vampires and things like that as well. And it got weird. So exactly. Don't turn around. The commissar's in town. I can't sing it. Otherwise I might get a, copyright strike if I sing it. So yeah, if you guys look at my video that I posted, a video that we recorded in a club of Daft Punk playing, it's got a copyright strike because of the music that's in there, which I of course have contested, but haven't heard anything back on yet. Oh, I'm sorry, Stanley Tweedle, you're right. Der Kommissar was by Falco. That's right. In the 80s were a long time ago, and brain doesn't work all that well anymore. So what's the status of the guy that works with Liv? Ravi? Ravi had taken the cure, but the cure wasn't 100%. So he would still have 1 day out of the month where he goes zombie, or a couple of days out of the month where he'd go zombie. So yeah, he had to eat some brains. His hair would get a little white stripe and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I think now he might be cured completely. So I'm not too sure. I can't remember offhand. I've got to go back and watch the last few episodes of last season. My favorite Daft Punk album? Honestly, I don't remember album names, to tell you the truth. I honestly don't even remember song titles. I just have some stuff in my playlist. And ever since we've gotten away from vinyl and things like that, I don't look at album titles anymore. I look at song titles sometimes, but that's only on my, when it shuffles. So sorry, Joker. I honestly couldn't tell you. There's a lot of good stuff out there though by Daft Punk. Yeah, Feisty, if you're behind on iZombie, it is on Netflix. They have the latest stuff on Netflix. And yeah, nothing, you're right, Pen Farm Girl. Major on the wrestler brain was truly phenomenal, especially when he was channeling his inner macho man, Randy Savage. Um, so yeah, this last season that they have stuff called Blue Brain, which was brains that have been soaked in this special formula. So when people would go into the fugue state where they remember memories, they would stay in that fugue state for a lot longer, and they could actually live out a memory, if you will, for a lot longer than just for a second. It was kind of weird, but I guess they really liked that. It was kind of a great experience if you're a zombie. Yeah, Mr. B Natural. So the video that I posted was so it took place in 2010. I was living up in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time, traveled down here to San Diego for Comic-Con, and was staying in a hotel with a friend of mine. And another friend of mine, a good friend of mine, lives down here. He was living down here already, and we decided to go out with him one night and go to a bar and have drinks and all that stuff after Comic-Con. And near the hotel that we were staying at, he said, "Hey, let's go over to this little place. I think you'll like it. It's called the Air Conditioned Lounge. Tiny little hole in the wall off of Adams Avenue, and maybe seats 200, 150, 200 people, somewhere around there." We go in, we're like, "Oh, it's cool. We'll get some drinks, whatever." And because we were tired after, all day at Comic-Con. And then we hear over the loudspeaker, the DJ says, "Oh, stick around. Daft Punk's going to be in at midnight." And we're like, "What? Did he just say what we thought he said?" And sure enough, about 10 o'clock, we see these two really skinny German guys start hauling in equipment. And they look really familiar because I've seen them without their masks before. And in and out, and just hauling in all kinds of DJ equipment and stuff like that. And sure enough, at midnight, because they knew the DJ, it was a friend of theirs, and it was his birthday, and they happened to be in town because they were releasing the soundtrack to Tron Legacy. They'd actually played Petco Park the night before to like 40,000 people. And we just happened to be in the right place at the right time. They came in and did like a hour and a half, 2 hour set. And it was an hour and a half because they ended at 1:30. That's right. And fucking phenomenal. People were texting everybody going, "Get over here now, get over here now." I guess they had a line out the door because people wanted in, of course, and there wasn't enough room to get in. And they were in their full garb and everything like that. Probably one of the best, just weird ass experiences I've had at Comic-Con, where it's just a weird happening that wasn't planned at all. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Dumb freaking luck. That's all I can say. Yeah. An angry feisty with super strength. Watch out, world. Brains give you super strength? Sometimes. I had my Hulk shirt on yesterday. I don't have it on today. Today I've got my Batman versus Superman. The luchador version that I've got on there. Yes, Mr. B Natural. I did tape it on the my friend actually had his phone had a lot more capacity to record it. So he did record about 15, 20 minutes worth. That's what I put up to YouTube, but it got a copyright strike because of the songs. So if you go on my Facebook page, I have it pinned to the top of the Suspended Fanimation Facebook page. It's there in its entirety. And the sound is phenomenal on it. The video is a little, crap because it's in the dark, of course. So you're going to see a lot of lights and stuff like that. But then you're going to see Daft Punk because he got up right next to them. And the picture that's actually on there is from him. He actually took the picture. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Greer, iZombie does have a really great theme song as well. And so, yeah, if you guys want to see something and rock, I actually posted that up on New Year's Eve is where I posted that.
It's kind of a blast to the past, and also so people could rock out to some stuff on New Year's Eve. So what else do we have ending? I'm gonna go back to the movies. Of course, what's coming out on next week on the 18th? Glass. Glass is supposedly the end of the trilogy to the Unbreakable trilogy, which of course is M. Night Shyamalan. And I'm a huge fan of Unbreakable. Um, I have been for a long time. And when Splinter came out, I was like, I don't need to see it. And then I heard that it actually is part of the Unbreakable universe. I was like, all right, crap. Now I got to go and look for it. I got to go and see it. Went and saw it. It was an okay movie up until the end when they had the little thing with Bruce Willis's character, David, coming in, and he's watching the TV there, and they tie it into the whole Unbreakable universe. And I was like, oh crap, this is what he should have been doing all along instead of waiting 15 years in order to do this. And now, of course, ending the trilogy with Glass and having them all come together and making superheroes known to this universe. It's going to be very interesting. But do I believe that, or will they decide to milk the cash cows? What Penn Farm Girl says. That's a good question. James McAvoy is the youngest out of the group of three, but I don't think he can carry it by himself. Splinter was okay. It just didn't. And handing it off to the girl, I'm sorry, I forget her name. I don't think that would do it as well. You're going to need to have Bruce Willis or Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson's just an awesome, awesome villain in that movie. I keep going back to it every single time, but there's that scene in Unbreakable where he's talking to the father who wants to buy the comic artwork for his child's bedroom wall. He's explaining about the artwork and what makes it so special, and just the differences in perspective about what makes this look like a villain versus a hero and things like that. And he goes into such detail explaining what we as comic fans have known for a long time to the general audience. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's it right there. That's actually great writing. And it's a great scene. It's one of those scenes that actually always brings chills down my spine because it's done so well and delivered so well and framed so well that that's one of those great things. And I don't think you're ever going to be able to capture that kind of thing again with the younger crowd that you have coming into this series at the end. So yeah, Joker, it was at the end of Splinter, that little portion where Bruce Willis' character's David is sitting in a diner and sees that on the TV. Penn Farm Girl says, I had no idea what the end of Splinter meant. Too long since I've seen Unbreakable until I watched the explanation on YouTube. Yeah, Filthy. Yeah, he had Sam Jackson had BAMF actually engraved on the bottom of his lightsaber on the hilt, which is supposed to stand for badass motherfucker. Yes. Split, excuse me. I keep calling it Splinter. It's Split. That's right, movie for Nubby. Thank you for correcting me on that. Yeah. Sorry. Splinter was something else altogether. I think he's one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's their father, right? Yeah, that's right. Split. That's right. Sorry about that. Age of Future says if Glass makes money, there will be a Glass 2 or whatever name they come up with. I this is the one thing I kind of fear because M. Night Shyamalan does not do well with fame. He had to get locked down quite a bit to come back again and actually start doing some good stuff. And when he starts getting too much money, I think that's when he starts having problems. A lot of indie directors are like that. Yeah. So it does happen. Yeah, Splinter does have has a rat hole. That's right. But that's something else altogether. Thanks for that, Slarmy. And also, one of my other favorite series is going to be ending story-wise, not genre. I mean, their franchise is going to end. Just the story is going to end. But John Wick 3 is going to be the end of the John Wick saga, and that comes out this year as well. I don't know when. They haven't released the date yet, but they're going to continue on in both I believe it's a TV series. I think there's supposed to be two different TV series now, if I remember. One's called The Continental, which is about the hotels. Excuse me. And the other one's supposed to be like the Ballerina or something like that, which is one of the hit people that works, for this conglomerate. But I'm so jazzed about John Wick 3 because Angelica Houston is going to play one of the management people, which I haven't seen her in a movie in a long time, and I want to see. She does evil so damn well that I'm pretty sure she's going to play an evil character, and that's what I want to see from her. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be very, very awesome. Yes, that's right. Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch says, by the way, go watch Future Man on Hulu if you haven't. It's hilarious. That's not ending. It's going to be starting up again. Season 2 is going to be on January 11th. I've been doing recaps of season 1. So if you get a chance to take a look at my video library that's up here, and I've done Future Man. I've been going through all of season 1. Like I said, I'm up to episode 10 right now. I'm going to be doing episode 11 later on this afternoon around, I think 2 p.m. is going to be good. And there's 13 episodes in season 1. They're half-hour episodes. Time travel, comedy. Seth Rogen is one of the executive producers, along with Evan Goldman, his other executive producer. They've been doing Preacher, Happy, The Boys, you name it. They've been really good about stuff. Go and watch it. It's really fucking funny. So definitely go and do that. And that's right. I forgot Halle Berry's in Wick 3 as well. Thanks, Joker. Yeah. So it's going to be a cavalcade, and also, God, I'm blanking on his name. The guy who's the head of the Continental, who was also in the American Gods. Jeez, now I'm just blanking on his name. But there's a lot of people, a lot of people in there. Movie Fanobi says season 2 comes out on my mom's birthday. Yeah, but there's no Momoa in there for your mom. So no mom drool. Yeah, Viking Bitch. The Boys looks amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a freaking awesome show. Ian McShane. Thank you, Mr. B Natural. Yes, Ian McShane, the great Ian McShane, is in John Wick 3 as well. And dude, Ian McShane is awesome. He really is. There was an interview with him that I read a while back where he talks about all the drugs that he did in the 60s and all the drugs and sex that he did and had in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and how he doesn't remember a lot of things anymore. It's a pretty good interview. I want to say it was a Vanity Fair interview or something like that. So, one of those really long interviews where they're just talking about everything. Deadwood, thank you. Yes, and Deadwood as well. Yes, which they're filming already. He was married to Sylvia Crystal? Really? Wow. All right. Yeah. Yes, that's right, Filthy News. I was getting to that. As you saw in my picture that I have up there, is the final year for Game of Thrones as well. Game of Thrones is coming out in April, and season 8 is its last season. And it's the end for this storyline, I should say, for the Game of Thrones story, for the current storyline. They are going to be doing a prequel that's going to be taking place, what is it, 2,000 years ago, before all of this started, when they're going to build the wall and everything like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, but I don't know how. Last season was okay, season 7, but it wasn't, Game of Thrones. So I'm not really. I've never been the biggest Game of Thrones fan, to be honest with you. I thought it was okay, but didn't float my boat as much as everyone else did. Betrayal is coming. Incest is already there, though, because of Daenerys and Jon Snow, brother and sister. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Because, good God, man, I haven't had anything as cringy as that since we found out that Luke was Leia's brother. Luke was, Leia's brother, yeah. And they were doing the whole, yeah, it's like, dude, no, it's your sister, man. It's your sister. God. I have to watch Viking Beach says I have to watch Game of Thrones to see what happens to Tyrion. Yeah. Tyrion. Exactly. So what else do we have coming out that's ending? Of course we have, and I've been talking about this for a while, Avengers Endgame. So this is going to be the end of the current MCU storyline. And possibly the end of the MCU universe as they remake it to shoehorn in all the Fox stuff as well. And that is going to be very interesting because are they going to dismantle it completely? Are they going to go New Avengers? Yeah, it's going to be really weird, really weird. Considering that they're not ending the whole Marvel universe or the MCU, I should say. They're just changing that storyline. They're ending the Thanos storyline, which has been taking place since, I guess it's been Thor, right? You're Thor. You should see my back. Filthy News says I might have a news video coming out at some point today. I've got some ideas floating. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I know, Pen Farm Girl. Well, you can't have endings without beginnings or happy endings. Yeah, the end is the beginning is the end. That's what happens usually with these things because it's never truly the end. I mean, look at Toy Story. 10 years ago, we thought it was ended, and of course, it's coming back again. That's right. Avengers 1 had the Thanos cameo, but even before that, it was kind of teased that Thanos was, the main bad guy. You keep saying these things as I'm typing them, Dennis. Sorry, it's coming up fast on my feed. Is really what it is. And Mufinobi says nothing wrong with the happy ending leading to another beginning. Yeah, this is true. Agent Future says I trust Marvel Studios as long as Fahey is running the show. Yeah, I do too. I do want to see a little bit of a different, some new blood being brought in, especially in the TV universe. I really don't want to see. I don't want to see the MCU in the Marvel TV stuff. To tell you the truth, I want to see. Well, I take that back. I do want to see the TV stuff be part of the MCU, but I want to see a different. The MCU has a homogenized look to it and a homogenized feel to it, which I don't like at the moment because it's starting to kind of all blend together. And I know that's their whole point is they want it to all blend together. I want some stuff to stand out, kind of like the comics do. You have different artists that put their stamp on things, and different writers that put their stamps on things. And yes, have it be vetted by Kevin Feige so it all ties together. But I want a little bit of difference on things. That's all. That's all. Nothing. Second again. What was that? Avengers 1. Stormy Scott says Avengers 1 was a way to cut actor salaries. You want a big buck salary? Sorry, we won't bring you back. Yeah. Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War. There we go. No, it's just the end of the. They're gonna recast is what they're gonna end up doing. They're gonna wait a little while, then they're gonna recast, like Cap, Iron Man, that kind of thing. Because that's what happens to us humans. We age. We can't play those same roles forever, and so you're gonna have to bring in some new blood and just recast them. They did it with Professor X in the Fox series. Speaking of another series that's actually going to die here, it's going to be the X-Men universe. So we have both the Dark Phoenix coming out on June 7th and New Mutants on August 2nd. And after that, Fox's Mutant Universe, the X-Men universe, is done because it goes over to Disney control at that point. And they've recast Mystique, Professor X, Phoenix, Jean Grey, also Scott. They've recast everybody at some point in time. And that's what the MCU needs to start doing, is they need to start looking at recasting people once they, age out, kind of thing. It happens. So, I mean, you can't have a 60-year-old trying to do an action, action just doesn't work. What is this? The second time they're doing the Dark Phoenix story? Stanley Tweedle, I don't think it's going to be all that great either. There's a reason why they kind of shelved it and then they're bringing it out. Yeah, they're bringing it out in the summertime, but I don't think it's going to be any good. Mr. B Natural says Dark Phoenix is going to be awesome. You being sarcastic? It's going to be interesting to see how it happens. Anything can't be, worse than Mark Ratner's version of it. New Mutants, yes, Osaro. New Mutants is coming out August 2nd. That's the horror movie that's set in an asylum where mutants are locked away in a mental asylum because of their powers. It's some weird shit. Why doing the Dark Phoenix without the Shi'ar? Feisty, they are doing the Shi'ar, supposedly. Yeah. But it's going to be a weird bastardized version of the Shi'ar, most likely, because it is Fox. So. Yeah, Viking, but you're right. Sarcasm is hard to pull off in text. So yes, Mr. B Natural, you get the gold star for the day. Pen linguist 2222. Is that like poo poo? Yes. And this one, I know we're all going to rejoice in this one, but The Big Bang Theory is ending after its 12th and final season. Yay! Yeah, Big Bang Theory did more to harm. First, it started to celebrate geekdom, and then it ruined geekdom. That's all I can say. Is if you look at the first 2 seasons of it, it's actually pretty good. It's a fun show, but then it starts getting meaner and meaner and meaner, and now it's just become this parody of geekdom and mean-spirited, and just it's kind of an asshole show now is really what it is. And it's like every other sitcom that's out there. Stormy Scott says, never watched an episode of Big Bang, just silly. It was all right. Yeah. Joe Greer, the Katie Sackhoff cameo was pretty damn funny. Especially with George Takei in there as well. Oh my. Yeah, the whole Wallowitz thing. That was actually kind of funny. There's some good moments in it, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, the later seasons just end up becoming mean and mean-spirited towards geeks and nerds. And there are ways to do it where you don't come off as an asshole, which is where the showrunner unfortunately went. Age of Future says, I can't stand Simon Kinberg. He was producer of the Fantastic Four movie. Yeah, he's also writer and producer of the X-Men stuff as well. So yeah, it's he's been in this for a while, and he actually started, if I remember correctly, I want to say he started off on Blade in the 90s, and then kind of worked his way into the X-Men, and then went up from there. This is off the top of my head, honestly. So, yeah, Viking bitch. My only rule is don't be an asshole. Yeah, I try and do that as well. I kind of fail at that most times. I'm going to admit right now, I am an asshole. So, but I try not to be. Don't be an asshole. Good motto for men. is what Movie for Nobody says. Yeah, exactly. We also have, and I don't know if anybody watches this on Freeform, Shadowhunters is in its third and final season. They are getting canceled. Basically, it's ABC Light is really what Freeform is, and you know what? I tried. I think I watched the first episode, and again, it's that YA thing. It's very, very weird. Uh, didn't float my boat, and again, it's on Freeform for a reason, because that is their main audience that they're trying to get to. And yeah, it's they're trying to have Netflix pick it up or Amazon pick it up, something like that. They're trying to have a last minute save, but I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think anyone really watches it, or I could be wrong. Who knows? I know it was based off a very popular book series, YA book series, but there we go. Oh man. Viking Bitch says, Dennis, you like to tease, but I haven't seen the assholishness in you yet. Yeah, I don't do it online. I should say I don't do it on the podcast. Go back and read some of my comments. You'll see, especially for the last Orville one. I think I pretty much did an asshole move, but I don't know for sure. That's what happens. You get too close to it and you can't really tell, am I being too much of an asshole? Am I not being enough of an asshole? Or, that's where it is. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger. Jesus Christ. Talk about a shit show. Talk about shows that need to be canceled. That's one of them, right? Well, who knows? Actually, that might end up being canceled as part of this whole D+ thing that's happening. If one can only hope. Although Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will not die. That fucking show is just going on and on and on and on. It's moved over to the summertime at this point, but god damn, that thing won't die. So the last thing that I have here, Star Wars Episode 9. We have the end of the Skywalker saga, December 20th. That is one of the last franchises, or not franchises. Yeah, it's a storyline. It's really what the storyline is. It's the Star Wars saga. And no, a Movie for Nobody. Colony was last year, or Joe Greer, excuse me. I'm talking about 2019. Everything that's ending this year. And, man, the Star Wars saga started off great in the 70s and the 80s. And then, of course, went downhill in the early 2000s and continued to go with what we have currently going on, which is just utter mishmash of crap. And I don't think they know where they want to go with it either. So who knows? I'm not looking forward to this episode 9. I am going to go and see it. Yes. Mainly for review purposes and to complete the set, if you will, of Misery. I got to see what Jar Jar has brought with him. Have I heard the rumors? What rumors, Joe Greer? Viking Bitch says, I like the last episode of the Orville better than the first one. Yeah, you saw my review of it. I wasn't. Viking Bitch says, I saw the plot holes when Dennis brought it up, but I still like the episode of Orville. Yeah, it just really jarred me too much and brought me out of it, honestly. And nothing ever changed in that whole storyline. It went on like it was before. It was, again, it was like one of those old Star Trek Next Generation episodes where everyone gets their taken over by some alien entity, and then they go right back to doing their jobs instead of having Starfleet go, whoa, wait a minute. You were taken over, mind controlled by an alien entity, and you run one of the biggest ships in Starfleet. No, go ahead. Just go back and work in your position. That's fine. You weren't compromised or anything like that. That's pretty much what I looked at for the Orville. It hasn't grown in that way. Oh yeah, Joker, the good guys and the bad guys joining together. That rumor, yeah, I've heard of it, and more than likely that's what's going to happen because everyone wins a prize in this series, and that's what it's supposed to be. Is honestly, they need to bring in the fucking Bendu is what they need to do. Bring in the Bendu and let him say, there is no good, there is no bad, there is no Sith, there is no Jedi, there is just Bendu, and do it that way if you really want to do it. Because that is the best storyline that's come out of Star Wars in the last 20 years. I want to say it right now. There you go. That is the best fucking storyline that's come about. Yeah. And the freshest idea that came out of Star Wars in the last 20 years as well. That deals with the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and blending them together, and also makes Mace Windu relevant as well because he's supposed to be using a little bit of dark, the dark side as well as a lot of the light side. That's why his lightsaber is purple instead of red or blue or green or anything like that. So, Movie for Novi says the thing about Disney Marvel is your brand property is better with diverse broadcasting. Pulling everything under the same movie banner and the same TV streaming banner doesn't help. Exactly. And not only that, if I have to go to one place, if I have to go to multiple places to watch things, again, I've talked about this before. If I'm paying for Netflix, Hulu, a streaming service like DirecTV Now or something like that, and then you add another thing on there like D Plus, where you're going to charge $15 a month. And there's also DC Universe as well that's out there that you have to pay another, $8 a month for that. Yeah, that I might as well pay for cable at this point because that's basically what I'm going to end up paying is like another, $150 a month or something. And frankly, that's what we're trying to get away from. If you want to get everyone to see it, everyone needs to work, all of these corporations need to work together to come up with one app and put all their shit on there and pay one price. I'll pay $30 a month, $40 a month if you can get all that shit under one roof. Yes. But other than that, no, I'm not going to start paying for all these different things. Like Stars right now. Yes, I am watching Counterpart. And once Counterpart is done, it gets dropped. Same thing with Game of Thrones. I'm going to watch that, I'm going to sign up for HBO when Game of Thrones starts in April. And once that's done, and that's just to watch one show. If I could just buy the episodes, I would do that, but I'm not going to pay like $10 an episode. I'll pay, $3 at most for an episode. That's about it. That's all I consider it worthwhile to for my time and money, if you will. Penn Farm Girl says, I believe there's an alternate reality where Star Wars and Trek are still good. Firefly wasn't canceled. Colony and many other shows lived up to its potential, etc., etc. Yeah, you know what? Colony ended on a interesting place, and then they got canceled. So, yeah. Cheryl Lyra says, yes, complete the set of Misery and let us know let us know so that we don't have to watch it. Yeah, I do feel like I suffer sometimes for the rest of you. Take one for the team, so to speak. Especially with Runaways, I realize I've been actively avoiding going back to watch Runaways, which says a lot about. I've been watching everything else except for Runaways. I finished Travelers on Netflix season 3, which is very interesting. I liked what they did with Travelers. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's an interesting ending to it. I was pissed off at first when they were starting off, and then by the end of it, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So they can either end the series as it is, or they can restart it again, or not restart it, but continue on. So I did like what they did there. Movie for Nobi says, hey, since Sony saw some success, what do you think will happen with the Universal and the Hulk licensing? I thought the Hulk wasn't just with Universal. There was a couple other. It's scattered among a couple of different. People are vying too much for a piece of the pie, so I don't think Hulk's going to come about. anytime soon, other than the Avengers or in an ensemble piece like that, where they can use him in a group setting, because that's all they have the rights for. Excuse me. Movie for Nobi says, I'm guessing we'll get a Venom sequel, maybe Hulk versus Venom. I don't think so, Slurmy. It's got to be a group setting. So Avengers, um, unless you have, X-Men, or I don't know how they're going to do it, to tell you the truth. Viking Bitch says, I have enough streaming. I will not pay for another. Exactly. Stanley, I don't think that's going to be the case. Stanley Tweedle says, we will only have to pay for D Plus in the future if Disney gets everything. I doubt it, quite honestly. They kind of spent themselves quite a bit when they bought Fox. So I don't know if they're going to have enough left to buy everything. They're going to try, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, Slurmy. Cutting the cord is starting to hurt DirecTV and the Dish. They are yesterday's tech. Kind of funny that you should mention that, because this goes into another story of mine. Netflix. Excuse me. So Netflix on iTunes or on the iPhone, they have been, so the way Apple had set up their policy was that you have to buy it through the iPhone for Netflix. And Apple was taking, for the first year, 30% of whatever your monthly fee was. That was going to Apple. And then Netflix was getting the rest. Then after that first year of the app being available, it went to 15%. So every time you're watching Netflix through your iPhone, Apple was getting 15% of that. Yeah, I'm not big on Apple products either. I think they're, I call it malware. I had one of them actually try taking over my router a long time ago, and I've never used it ever since. So, and so what Netflix has done now, Apple changed their policy on how things are done with apps being, with products being bought within apps now, in-app purchases. And Netflix now has it so you go to the Netflix site and you buy directly through the Netflix site and pay through it there. So they're no longer paying, they said annually they were paying Apple about $275 million for all the subscribers that were subscribing through the iPhone. That is no longer happening now because Apple changed their policy. I have a feeling that Apple's going to be changing that policy back fairly soon. They're going to have a lot of opposition to it, but I think they are going to be changing that back because of Netflix. I mean, that's a huge sum of money, $275 million, considering that Apple lost, what was it, about 6%, 7% of their revenue just recently, about the earnings call they just had. So yeah, it's yeah. Stormy Scott says the Weather Channel, owned by IBM, has been revealed to use as a user tracking system. Apps are sneaky. Yeah, there's a lot of things that, a lot of apps that listen to you to find out what you're looking for. You find it odd that you're surfing on Facebook and then what you were talking about to a friend of yours shows up in your feed, because apps are listening to what the hell you're talking about and then using those as a search algorithm to put it into ads on stuff like Facebook and Google and things like that. Yeah, it's pretty damn scary. Penn Farm Girl, my first computer was an Apple IIc. Yes, glorified word processor. I've been on Apple. I've been anti-Apple ever since. Yeah, I had a 2E as my first, desktop computer. My very first computer was an Atari 1200. God, and I can't remember what the name of it was. Basically, what it was a keyboard with a slot in the side, so you can actually add cartridges and also floppy disks. The 4.25, the big, huge floppy disks. And I remember playing Space Shuttle on that one. So they actually had a Space Shuttle simulator where you adjusted the yaw and the pitch and all that kind of stuff, and you had a dock in with space stations and and it was all VGA and shit like that on the TV. It was a weird thing. But yeah, I think that was my very first one, if I remember correctly. Mark Maginot says Apple fanboy here, but everyone got to use what they like. Yeah, exactly. I've had a Mac before. I've had a MacBook, and mainly for Final Cut Pro is really what it was for. It was for school at the time, and I've switched over. Like right now, what I'm broadcasting to you from is a Surface Book, a Microsoft Surface Book, and of course Android phones. So I use an Android phone as well. So, but neither here nor there. I'm not in the whole Apple PC war or anything like that. Again, people use what they like. So that's all I can say. Yeah. Yeah, Apple does have great commercials and misleading commercials, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So, my other news, Adrianne Palicki, who is on the Orville, as Kelly. In a recent interview, she said she would like to return as Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's actually kind of pissed that her co-star, Nick Bloodgood, got to return on season 5. And she goes, all they need to do is ask me. She goes, I'll come back. And she wants to do a cameo. That's really what she wants to do. I've heard the rumors that, they're just rumors from what I understand, that there's been some trouble on the set of the Orville and they want to get rid of her or something like that. That's trying to write her off the show. I really don't think that's true. You could tell from the storyline that she's integral to the storyline. She's the one that got Ed Mercer his job back. She's the one that's kind of overseeing him in this job as well. She is not going to be leaving anytime soon. So yeah, I could see her doing a cameo, 1 or 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Mockingbird coming back, but that's about it. Yeah, exactly. Joker. No, you know what? That's actually kind of an insult. Palicki wasn't Ruby Rose before Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose doesn't have any talent. I'm sorry to say. There's a reason why she was a mute in John Wick 2. They usually do that when you can't act. So, yeah, you know what? We're going to take your character who has a lot of dialogue, and then we're going to make you a mute. And you have to sign language everything. And I mean, she talks a lot in that freaking thing, but it's all sign language. Yeah, that's all I can say. And after seeing her as Batwoman, or Kate Kane, because honestly, she was Batwoman for 0.5 seconds or something like that. Yeah, they've recorded, or I guess they filmed the pilot episode of Batwoman, and they're working on that right now. So I don't have any hopes for the Batwoman series, but I guess what they're going to do is they're going to start off the CW series next season with Crisis. So that's the reason why they tease Crisis at the end of Elseworlds, because they're going to start off like Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow with Crisis, and then it's going to reboot everything into bringing Batwoman into their universe. Yeah. Batmute. You know what? Cassandra Cain. Batmute. There you go, right there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that with Ruby Rose's character. But I guess they needed to have her talk, because otherwise she couldn't do her feelings in hallways for the CW. Oliver Queen's sacrifice. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting there too. I'm thinking, Joker, that's correct. There's a rumor out there that Oliver Queen's going to sacrifice himself for the Crisis, multiple worlds and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm just hoping they're actually going to bring Superman and Supergirl into the universe now, and so everything can become together, and also fucking bring Batman in too at this point. I know they kind of danced around it in Elseworlds, where Bruce Wayne is there, but he left to go off on some pilgrimage or something like that. Yeah. Feelings in hot tubs. Hot tub time machine. That's what it is. They're going to talk about their feelings in hot tubs with Barry. Barry's going to vibrate so fast they go back in time, creating the crisis. And Oliver is going to have to sacrifice himself in order to get the Chernobyl, in order to reactivate the hot tub, because Barry has lost his time speed force, and to go back in time to an alternate universe now where everything is all together, all the different worlds. The end. Sounds not very hygienic. See, they just need to come to me for these ideas. Come on. If you really want something whacked out, far out there that doesn't make a lot of sense, I can do that. Pay me a couple of $100 million. I'll do that for you right away. God. Sometimes, sometimes you got to wonder what the fuck people are thinking. So, we have a report out here, and this is no surprise, really. So this is from the UK, actually. So gaming is now worth more than video and music combined in sales, which is not, all that surprising. When you think about it, I don't know about you guys. I have a PS4. I know there's some people that have PS4s and Xboxes and that are playing games. I'm a casual game player as it is, and I have a smattering of games. I'm playing about 3 games right now at the moment. And actually, I haven't played them in a couple of months, or about a month, I should say. I need to update my Spider-Man add-on, because I know the new add-on just came out a little while ago, so I need to do that. Yeah, Slurmy Scott, same bat time, same bat channel as my child. Yeah. I saw that IFC, and this was kind of nice. It was one of those things I was doing when I was avoiding watching The Runaways, was IFC had a Batman marathon on New Year's Day. And so I was watching a couple episodes of the old Batman TV series, which always brings me back. Yeah, Filthy News says, gamer here, PS4 fan. Movie Fanobi says, I'm PS only, but I haven't touched the stick since early 2018, retired. Yeah? Did you have an injury or something like that? Was it gruesome? But yeah, so it's no surprise that people are seeing less and less movies. They're downloading less and less music as well. And that's, it's par for the course when you start having more and more time sink into other things like video games, which are a lot more interactive. People want a lot more interaction now with, like, what we're doing here, YouTube. I mean, I'm talking to you over the internet, over the interwebs, and you're interacting with me via chat. That's what people want now. Not in the same room. You don't want to be in the same room with people, because God forbid that ever happens. You just want to talk over the internet. Same thing with games. You want to play games with people. And I'm talking about games like, video games, things like that, not just mind games and shit like that normal people play. Or abnormal people, I should say. And you interact with people via headsets, things like that. And that's what's drawing in people. You're not getting that with movies and music anymore. Movies and music is great. I mean, it used to be where you went over, and I'm talking decades ago, you'd go over to a friend's house to watch a movie. The latest DVD or VHS tape, if you will, that came out. You go and rent a movie and have movie night, do all these different movies. Or, the latest album, the latest Led Zeppelin album would have come out, and you're like, hey, come on over, let's listen to it. Or CD or something like that. It doesn't work that way anymore. Everyone does this online now. And that's the reason why video games are king. And not only that, it doesn't put into account your mobile device as well. So your mobile device has a whole bunch of games, and you can play over that while you're out doing shit. You could be at the gym playing a video game and interacting with your friends as well. It's the way it works now. So it's no surprise that video games are, drawing in that much more money. Movies, yes. Movie theaters, are they going to go away? They're going to get smaller. So they're going to go the way of bookstores more than likely, where, we saw them dwindling, but they've come back now. Same thing with movie theaters, the big multiplexes. You're going to go back to the one or two screen theaters kind of thing. You're Right now, I just saw over at Fry's Electronics the other day. Fry's is usually where I go and get my DVDs. I like physical media. And they were clearing out their DVDs like crazy. I mean, it's already was dwindling down, but they were selling them for $1 and trying to get rid of them. They're trying to get rid of that space at the moment. While the video game section is expanding. It's kind of funny. The vinyl section at Fry's also was growing as well. It usually went from one like little standy stand to now an entire row to an entire 2 rows. And I think the vinyl section is going to take over where the DVD section used to be at this point. Slurmy Scott says new David Bowie album, new Heinlein book, new Beatles album. That was the late 60s, early 70s. Exactly, Slurmy. And that's what people would do. I mean, it was a shared experience. Now you go online for that shared experience. Yeah, and Movies Anywhere app is nice for the stream. The only thing is, Joe Greer, though, having digital only media means that your corporations have control over whether or not you get to keep that media. And it already happens on Amazon Kindle. Amazon Kindle, you buy a book, it's your book, right? You're supposed to keep it. But Amazon can go in and go, nope, that book is no longer there. They take it off. It's happened before. Same thing with music. You have, on your iTunes account or your Amazon account or Google Play account, whatever, and you've bought a song and then the song disappears because it's been pulled by Amazon, Google, whatever. You bought that. You don't get that money back. Yeah. Can't Chromecast. You can Chromecast on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Definitely you can, pitch things out, but I'm talking about actually buying this stuff and keeping it. And that's the whole thing, is that's where we're heading towards, not having any control over what we've bought. So you buy it, but it can be deleted as well. It can also be altered. That's the other thing I don't like about this, is I don't like the special edition of the original Star Wars trilogy. That special edition sucks, especially since Han, does not shoot first in that one. It's Greedo that they retroactively did. Yes, don't get me started on that shit too. But I have the original DVDs that were taken from really bad scans of Laserdisc versions. And that's the original trilogy that was done in the theater, the theatrical releases, way back in the 70s and 80s. And those are my Star Wars. And I have that as physical media. So, yeah, Slurmy, this stream is as close as we get to a shared experience now. So that's what we get now. People don't like to join together and, control. Exactly, Joe Greer. It's all about control. And we are giving up more and more control of what we own, what we watch sometimes too. So that's where this is all going for the most part. If you look at it, I don't want to sound all gloom and doom, but that's what it sounds like to me. So on other news, something a little happier maybe. Matt Reeves, he's been working on that movie, a little movie called The Batman. That could start filming in November. He's finally got a script that's been approved by Warner Brothers, by the execs. And I guess they like it and they're getting ready to run with it. I guess they're going to do one more pass and then get the funding together and start doing that in November. I don't know about you. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Just because, yeah, Aquaman did well, but it changed the tone of things. Ooh, sorry. It really did. I wasn't a big fan of the Aquaman movie. It was a bit messy, and it had some good visuals in it, but some really messy visuals too. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. We'll see with Shazam. What happens with Shazam when that comes out, and also Wonder Woman 1984. So Viking Bitch says, I miss talking to other humans in the same room, but yet I get to meet more people this way. Both have upsides. True. And Movie for Nobody says both have backsides. Yeah, you got to watch your backside sometimes, especially around Movie for Nobody. Yeah, exactly, Slurmy Scott. The electricity goes off and we're lost. Yeah. A Movie for Nobody says, Slurmy, I didn't know you dreamed of learning what it's like to be a caterpillar farmer. Funny. Joe Greer says, I still crave a physical compact disc. Yeah, and granted, I can download stuff to physical media, but I have sitting around me right now, I literally have 3 hard drives. Like those, little brick hard drives that I can plug into my computer that have music, movies, you name it, what have you, that are on there, because I've downloaded those so I don't lose them. But the thing is, those physical media also degrade over time as well. I've had, some of these hard drives get corrupted and whatnot from age and having to switch things over. So I've got stuff stored in different places all over the place. And then I can never remember where the hell I've got, that file that I need. Did you get that thing I sent you? Then upload to the cloud. What did Slurmy say? Viking Bitch says, good point, Slurmy. I lose electricity on the regular in the summer because I live in an old house, old neighborhood. I've considered getting a generator. Or solar. Try and get solar. That might work. Pan Farm Girl, even when the power is out, I can still light a candle and pull a book off the shelf. Exactly. So, unfortunately, it seems like that's the way we're headed. But again, we always correct things as well. Like I said, with Barnes and Nobles, we had a whole bunch of bookstores go out. And now we have, Barnes and Nobles coming back and a lot of mom and pop bookstores coming back as well. And vinyl, same thing. Vinyl disappeared. Now we have a resurgence of vinyl coming back again as well. So we are creatures of habit. We like to collect things, us as human beings, and we want to have that physical media surrounding us. As you can see behind me over here, those are all DVDs over there. Swampy's right there, and I've got books over on this side. So yes, I could go digital on both of those. I have with some things. So, but not everything. I like the feel of a book in my hand. I like the feel of one of these packagings. Like you can see Firefly up here. That has a whole bunch of different extras and things in there, like maps and stuff like that. I like that kind of stuff. And I'll lose that with, just digital only media. Yeah. Slurmy Scott says that Movie for Nobody, the League of Robot Assassins, uses this channel for secret messages. Dennis is just a bonus. Who says I don't pass on those messages, Slurmy? You never know. So, if you like what you see here, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below here. Hit the like button as well. If you want to get notified when I am on. And from what I just found out, that that's pretty much the only way you'll find out if I'm on, is if you hit the notification, little bell that's down there. Hit that as well, so you know when the next video is coming up. I do these every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So I'm always here. Also, take a look at my video library that I have of stuff. I'm doing Counterpart, the Orville, for now at least, Gotham, Future Man, and I'm going to be doing Deadly Class, Project Blue Book that's coming up. And I'm not going to do The Gifted. I'm sorry. The last episode was better. I have to admit, the last episode of The Gifted was better because it didn't have hardly any Stephen Moyer on there. And yes, today I am going to be doing Future Man episode 11 at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So again, like I said, take a look at my library. You can find it there. And if you like it, subscribe. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go and get on with your day, and I'll see you back here again at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get your physical media taken away from you. See you, everybody.